So, all right, as we move in, here's some other just key commentary and details that blow my mind. The Hope Alliance is supported by two funds. The Hope Triage Fund, where the majority of the funds go directly to those in need, and the Hope Community Impact Fund, a private donor fund that funds the nonprofit expansion, public outreach programs, and further supports a community impact fund investing in socially responsible companies on behalf of nonprofit funds in order to grow revenues in support of the nonprofits and overall Hope initiative. So this sounds to me like Triage Fund number one, as it says, goes directly to the in-need charities, parties, peoples within the program. So this is going to go straight to John who has PTSD, or this vet, or that homeless person, or this addiction, or this person with autism. And we can, well, we'll come back to how we follow this money later. But so that's Fund 1. Fund 2 is the one I think that really kind of blows my mind. It sounds, and help me out here, it sounds like what you've done is created a fund that perpetuates itself for the sole purpose of helping to provide these teams and resources to the charities and their operations.
Correct. So let's talk about that fund. We call it the Hope Impact Fund, also known as the 50-30-20 Fund.
Okay.
And I'll break that down here so it really makes sense. We talked about the triage side, the Hope Festival, which is the public outreach campaign, the whole Hope initiative for engaging the public. What we do for this is we've actually taken the 20% that goes towards the productions, the actual live festivals, the marketing, the promotion, the technology, the back-end systems.
Okay.
And that's the 20% out of the 50-30-20 fund. That does not mean that 20% goes to the triage fund. The actual 20% goes to making the festival happen, doing all the production, all the media, and all that good stuff. Now, the triage fund itself, that, just to be clear, that money comes from the masses. So as we do the public outreach, we do the Hope Festival, all those private donations, all the donations for the public, all the $5 and $10 and $50, that goes through the triage fund, where the majority of that goes directly to helping people in need.
Got it.
So it really is not the operational fund, or they're taking overhead and salaries and paying for cars and that kind of stuff. It's called the triage fund for a reason. The majority of that money goes directly to those in need. So if we go back to the other side of the table, this 50-30-20 fund, it's a private donor fund. This isn't the $5 and $10 and so forth and so on from the general public. This really is where we have the major donors, the 6- and 7-figure donors. And we put this into the 50-30-20 fund, where it takes care of the 20%, the production, and all that. Mm-hmm. But let's go to the other side on the 50%. Because, again, the triage fund is designed to help those individuals directly in need with money right now for whatever it is for the triage care. Well, back on this side, we wanted to create a system where each one of these nonprofits, we fortify them. We bulk up their systems. We create salaries for their need, the caseworkers and the people behind it. As we grow this on a national level, they're going to have to expand. So instead of having to take money out of the triage fund so they can expand and hire people and all that, we created a private donor fund to take care of their expansion.
So it's all the infrastructure.
That's the infrastructure. So that 50% right off the top of that private donor fund, which is the Hope Impact Fund, 50% of that goes towards fortifying our nonprofits directly.
Good Lord.
So, and we look at that 50-30-20. On the other side, we've got the 20% to pay for all the production, the 50% to fortify the nonprofits. Then you've got the middle, which is the 30%. And this is the part that I'm really excited about this, because that 30%, it creates a scenario, we call it the Impact Fund, where on behalf of the fund, the nonprofit fund, it's an investment mechanism into impact companies. And what's really interesting about this is we're leveraging Commonwealth Capital. They're a 20-year-old VC firm that has their own fund, the Commonwealth Capital Income Fund 1. We're actually piggybacking that fund, where all the companies that actually they qualify, they vet these companies out, and as they qualify for their fund, that means they're qualified for our fund. But we take our investment policy statement one step further, and we say that they have to be impact companies. They have to be doing something that is socially responsible. It's a social impact company. They're doing green tech, community projects, so forth and so on. So our investment fund, which is the Hope Impact Fund, is really driving innovation and community impact type of projects. And at the same time, it's owned by the nonprofit fund. So all the dividends, all the equity in these companies, it goes back to cycle back into the nonprofit fund to support the nonprofit fund.
Wow. Okay. All right. So as I wrap my mind around just the 30%, which is astounding. I love the approach to only working with companies that are socially responsible, because how many of those are there? Not a whole lot. So finding them, making sure that they've already been accredited by a company with its own resources, responsibility, and its own vetted reputation.
Yep.
Then we come in as a secondary, add our own additional steps to further vet them, and then we find the right place to invest money that brings dividends to allow everyone to continue to do what it is they came to us to do in the beginning.
Correct.
Which is help the man, the woman on the street.
Yes, absolutely.